going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got our week 2 top plays and stacks for the NFL main slate on Draftkings. Before we dive in, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below on who you think absolutely breaks the slate this week. Would love to hear from you guys. So without further ado, let's go. Guys, go check out Occupy Fantasy. They have their ultimate guide. If you need a lineup builder for this NFL season, they have their Occupy model, their daily plugs. They pretty much have everything that you need from a DFS perspective. I think it's only $2.99 if you want to join just their Discord. Learn a bunch from just their Discord channel alone. I highly recommend Occupy Fantasy. Sign up with the link below. Also, BetUS, America Sportsbook. I have a 125% sign-up bonus. If you are looking for a new book, please use the link in the description and use code DOTBETS and you get a 125% sign-up bonus. All right, now let's break it down by position. So quarterbacks, they're mostly going to be the guys that you're going to have in your game stacks. So for me, it's going to be a lot of Dak, a lot of Herbert, Wilson, Tannehill, and then Murray and Kirk Cousins. It sucks to roster Kirk Cousins, but that's the way the game stacking theory works. If I'm not stacking somebody, I'm going with a lot of Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to go with a lot of Josh Allen. So it just doesn't. It doesn't correlate. But if I always game stack when I'm going high risk. But if you wanted to kind of one off, do Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. They're in prime matchups that I believe that they can exploit. Plus, they have running ability. So that's kind of another reason why I would aim towards those two. So for the running backs, obviously the top three, you know exactly what you're going to get from them, but you're going to also have to pay up. So this week, I'm probably off the top three. The only person that I would go with is maybe Kamara, slightly. He had a manageable game in week 1 just because they were so lopsided. He still scored 18 points, and he still rushed the ball 20 times. Didn't have that many receptions in a game like this game against Carolina. He could potentially have a lot more volume and lower own. So he's a guy that I maybe put in a couple, but my majority of my lineups are going to have a lot of Austin Eckler, a lot of Joe Mixon, and then a lot of Nick Chubb. So Chubb absolutely is going to go off. He is in a prime matchup against this Texans defense that is brutal. Then you have, 15 attempts last week against the Chiefs, 23 fantasy points. He's a prime candidate. But I'm going to have a majority of my lineups Mixon and Eckler. Mixon has become that bell cow back that they have been talking about. As long as he stays healthy, he is so underpriced. So he went from 6,200 to 7,000. And he almost had 38 rushing attempts last week and 5 targets. I mean, you're talking Cook, CMC volume right there. And you're going to get a value right here for 7,000. So I think he's going to be a little bit highly owned, but that's okay. We differentiate ourselves with the wide receivers and our game stacks. So Mixon and Eckler are probably my top 2. If you want some value and you want some salary relief, obviously Eli Mitchell is going to be very, very popular this week at 5,000. Kenyon Drake, with the news that Josh Jacobs is out, is going to be very popular. And then I also think a very, very good play here this week is Nyheim Hines. I can't remember where he's exactly at. Let's type him in real quick. Hines. So he's at 4,700. He had 8 targets last week, 6 receptions, and almost 10 attempts. And I don't believe that they're going to be able to run the ball effectively against this elite Rams defense. They're going to be dumping off to Taylor, dumping off to Hines, and Hines is the value play in my opinion. So wide receivers. So I like the game stacks for the quarterback. You're going to be playing a lot of Cowboys, Chargers, Titans, and Seahawks. And then you got the Vikings receivers and the Cardinals receivers. So you pretty much, instead of playing so if you're stacking the Cowboys, so say you stack Dak, and then you have Zeke, and then you come back with Cooper, or you have Cooper here. And so instead of coming back with Keenan Allen, who is a more expensive play, probably a more popular play, you come back with Mikey Williams at $6,100. So you save $900, and it's still that game stack. So that's where I'm at with the wide receivers and how you can differentiate yourself amongst the crowd, really. Instead of having the top game stack with the top players, you can have a game stack with maybe the wide receiver 2 or the wide receiver 3. So instead of Williams, maybe you go Guyton. You say, hey, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Guyton's going to go off. That's how you can differentiate yourself just a little bit. But other one-offs, so if you need to obviously play 3 receivers, can't play, and you need another guy, Diggs, huge target share there. And then Ridley is going to be another one. And I like Jacoby Myers this week. So Jacoby Myers is not a sleeper, but 5,100 is a good value play in a competitive game against the Jets. He had 9 targets last week. He's the number 1 receiver there. I think he can get into the end zone this week. I like his matchup against this secondary here. So Jacoby Myers. And then my other value play is DJ Chark. So 5,600. So there's a lot of talk with DJ Chark in the offseason if he was going to be anything. I think he's going to be a pretty good receiver for the Jags. I know Urban Meyer tried to talk him up a little bit, but he had 12 targets. 12 targets at 5,600. Very, very good value play here. So it's a guy that I'm targeting a lot to kind of fill the rest of my wide receiver lineups, maybe flex positions. So maybe Lawrence targets him a little bit less, but maybe he catches the ball 6 to 7 times instead of 3 times. He also fell into the end zone last time. He is their deep ball threat, which also helps. But if you're getting 12 targets, no-brainer. I like DJ Chark. So tight ends. Obviously, we have no Kelsey on the slate, but if you go Waller is the new Kelsey, in my opinion. So he has 19 targets last week. I don't think he's going to get nearly that many this week with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense against him, but he's in a prime target share opportunity in his offense. That 7,600 is super cheap because he played on Monday night. So he's going to be probably in the 8,000s, kind of like the Kelsey range in the next few weeks. So you could get a value play here at 7,600 with Waller. Then I love Tyler Higbee this week. He had 6 targets last week with Stafford at the realm. He is going to just be a favorite target of his. Woods, Kupp, and Higbee. Those are the big 3. And then you have Van Jefferson in the mix to throw the ball deep. Same with Deshaun Jackson. But Higbee is going to be relied upon heavily in this offense. 4,100 is a steal here. Going to have a lot of Tyler Higbee. And then the guy I've been talking about a bunch is Gerald Everett. I know he's in a tight matchup. It says number 1 on the Titans. But Russell loves his tight ends. He's going to keep peppering Everett. I know he only had 2 targets and he got into the end zone. That's 10 points though. With a guy at 3,600, and his price went up 200 points or $200. So I like to go back to Everett here. And then another guy that I think goes off this week is Cole Kmet. He had 7 targets, and he saw his salary decrease. Don't know how, don't know why, but either if Dalton's in there or Fields, they need to have that safety belt. So Cole Kmet, fire him up in your lineups. Absolutely love him. Defenses, kind of the obvious ones this week are the Bucks and the Browns being double-digit favorites, both at home. So they're going to be heavily favorited. I like to look down at the bottom and see if there's anybody worth rostering. You could potentially probably do Philly. I think Philly's a good spot this week. You could roll with Indy. You could roll with Miami. You could roll with the Chargers. Like I said, I like to look for cheap home guys. And maybe the Jets, maybe the Jags. My favorite is probably the Eagles here. Otherwise, the Bears at home, and then the 2 heavy favorites. But defenses, I like to save as much money as possible for home favorites, just so I can spend up at different positions. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Throw a comment below in the free Discord. Link is in description. If you guys have any questions, join there and let me know. And then every Sunday morning, Twitch stream at 10:30. So hope to see you guys there, and let's cash.